Hey everybody, Preston Howard here, co-founder of Helpful Place Marketing, and today we're going to dive into, as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, maybe you're kind of a more advanced startup, you're making money, but you're really looking for that scale. So basically talking what it's going to look like to go from zero to $1 million and really simplify that process for you so that way you don't have to overcomplicate anything or try to reach out and grab everything, but that you can really focus in on what it is that's going to take you from zero to $1 million, or maybe you're 20,000, 100,000, and then scaling up to that point before going to that next stage, which is going to be your $1 million to $10 million. But again, really focusing in today, your 0 to $1 million, what that process is going to look like. And so I've got some notes here to the side in case I kind of get off track, because I'm one for wandering off down on tangents. But really, it comes down to two things. And the two things, one of the guys that we love to follow, one of our mentors, who's Russell Brunson, we're heavily vested into his programs, into his software that we use for our business that's been really successful. So like any other business, we set goals for ourselves, just like if you're a football team going for a Super Bowl ring, that's much kind of the same thing that we're doing for our business. And we're still in our 0 to $1 million phase. So this is something that isn't kind of abstract for us. This is something that we are directly applying. And so as we go through this process, we want to share it with you as well. So back to what I was saying as far as what are the two main things. There's two main things that Russell says is kind of the primary focus. And that's your what and your how. And so going into that as far as saying, what is your what? So as a business, what is it that you're selling? And with that, you want to be able to decide your offer. So, this is your only job really in this stage, your 0 to 100, is figuring out your what and your how. And with your what is what you're selling, and we'll go further into that in another video, but as far as you only really want to have one core offer, one thing. So if you have multiple products or whatever that may look like, focusing on one core thing. And so as a lot of people say, and I know you've probably heard of it if you're watching this, but that the riches is in the niches. And so as a marketing agency for us, when we were first getting started, we were trying to focus on anything and everything. So we were doing lead generation, we were doing product sales, helping e-commerce businesses, helping drive traffic to social sites, being able to help people with events. And so we were trying to focus on everything. And by doing that, we really, it hurt our market share as far as when we were going after these different things, we weren't able to grow our core revenue. So that's when we came back in and really started to focus as far as helping physical products, being able to help with people with digital products and entrepreneurs who have already got a base. So that's really figuring out again your what. What is it that you're selling? What's your core offering? You might have different services that you offer maybe on your front end, whatever that looks like, but what is your core offering for your services that you are providing? The next thing as far as your how. So once you really decide on your core offering, and again, we'll go into that later on in another video, but as far as how are you going to sell what you're offering? And typically you can look at this kind of like as a vehicle. What is the vehicle that you're going to use to be able to sell your product or your service or your core offer, as we like to call it? For us, that's ClickFunnels. As far as being able to create individual marketing campaigns. So for us, our what is our $2,500 service package, right? So we might go a little bit lower for some people, maybe a little bit higher. We have some kind of front end services that we offer to bring people in. But at the end of the day, we have a core offer, and that core offer is right at $2,500. And that's kind of our primary focus. All of our marketing campaigns, everything feed in to that core offer. And again, going back to our how we're selling that is through ClickFunnels. So we're actually using a webinar campaign. Before, we probably had about 6 different individual marketing campaigns that we were running trying to sell variations of this core offer. And so we really didn't start seeing success with this until we started to really focus in on that core offer, really understanding our niche and our target audience for that core offer, and then understanding our how, or our vehicle, for what was going to be the method of being able to sell that, which was ClickFunnels. But even within ClickFunnels or your marketing campaigns, there's different ways that you can do that. And for us, again, it was a webinar. Because it's such a high price, we needed to be able to create a way that we could show that value, be able to show results, show transformation that happened in these businesses or these product or service-based businesses that allowed this to be successful, so that at the end of the time that they went through that webinar, there wasn't a question and understanding that this was something that could benefit their business. So again, really understand your how. How are you going to be able to sell your product and service? And again, there's no reason to overcomplicate it further than this on your mission to $1 million. And again, maybe you're over that or whatever that may be, but as far as from 0 to $1 million, this needs to be your primary focus, is understanding your what and your how. So kind of going back over, again, once you lock this down and you understand this process as far as your what and your how, and really lock that down on being able to deliver that, you're going to see that getting to $1 million is a lot more simple than you realize. The money's going to start coming in. One of the great things, we actually got back from a ClickFunnels conference here recently, and I mean, they had a line that literally wrapped around the audience as far as people who had gotten to $1 million with one funnel, which is what, again, we recommend and is recommended to us to be able to get to that point, is just using one method, one how to be able to get that out to the marketplace. And so one of the other things as far as, and we'll put a link in the description, but if you're having trouble being able to really understand your what, your service, your product, your core offer that you're providing, and your how as far as your vehicle, one of the best ways that we really found that out, and it wasn't immediately, we really had to study, we really had to dive deep, but was Russell's book, which was Expert Secrets, being able to help you really understanding your audience and what method you're going to use to be able to get that and get to that 1 million mark. So if you haven't read it already, I'm going to put the link in the description so that way you can go ahead and get Expert Secrets, and again, reading that and understanding that. But for us, as far as entrepreneurs, when we were trying to do anything and everything, once we read this, I was like, oh my gosh, it was like a revelation as far as really solidifying what we needed to do to be able to get there. So again, if you haven't read it yet, I highly recommend getting Expert Secrets, because again, readers, I mean, those are the people that are really making it. If you're not reading, you need to be. And just kind of an example as far as with Russell, and there's other examples out there for people that are using the ClickFunnels platform. But with Russell, when they were kind of figuring out, they actually went through 6 variations of their initial funnel or their marketing campaign that they were using to be able to get their software, ClickFunnels, out to the marketplace. But once they actually locked that down, they went from 0 to $1 million in literally 1 week, like 1 week. So it might have taken, 6 months, a month for each variation to get to that point. But once they figured it out and reintroduced that to the market, in 1 week they were able to go from 0 to $1 million with that campaign. So that's why we love it. That's why it's the same process that we implement for our clients as far as being able to understand their what and their how, and then being able to deliver that into the marketplace. So I hope this was some good information as far as on understanding your what and your how valuable that is on being able to take your business from 0 to $1 million. So we'll continue to go over basically breaking these down and kind of talking about why you need to be able to stop juggling a million things later on this week. So I hope this was some great information. Make sure to follow, make sure to like this, whatever platform you're viewing it on, and then make sure to look in the description so you can get your copy of Expert Secrets.